This casserole recipe uses a lot of the different ingredients that we're going to have left over from Thanksgiving anyway. I'm going to take a couple tablespoons of butter and melt it into a skillet with a little bit of onion. So we're going to take those leftover Thanksgiving vegetables and kind of just give them a little more flavor with a little bit of onion. So I've got about a half of a cup to a cup. Probably you're going to have an onion or two lying around after you make the stuffing. And I'm just going to saute that for a minute or two. And then I'm going to add a couple of cups of whatever vegetables you happen to have in your freezer or are left over from Thanksgiving. I like to use, happens to be a mix of green beans, corn, peas, and carrots. But maybe you've got just straight up green beans left over from Thanksgiving or corn. So think, in terms of those type of vegetables. Probably not so much broccoli and cauliflower. Maybe wouldn't work as well unless you're a huge fan of that in this casserole. It's basically a layered casserole. Kind of reminds me of shepherd's pie, but with a turkey Thanksgiving twist to it. Okay, so we're going to let our onion hang out and just saute for a minute or two. I'm going to start building this casserole. Large casserole dish here. I'm going to spray it with cooking spray. We're planning some really fun shows for the holidays, by the way, over the next few weeks. So all sorts of really wonderful holiday recipes, party ideas, treat and cookie and candy ideas, and lots of great decorating ideas too. So I hope you'll watch. It's going to be a lot of fun the next couple of weeks. I just love, love, love this time of year, Thanksgiving and then Christmas. I know, okay, I know you guys are going to rip on me for this, but with the weather, I couldn't help it. Christmas carols are already playing in my car and in my house. I know. Ann did the whole eye roll thing. I know. I was ready. We were ready, and so was the family. I thought Bob was going to say, "Are you serious? I'm not ready," but we were all ready. So it's happening. It is. So the first layer is I'm going to take some stuffing, and if you've got leftover stuffing, that works great. If you want to just make, box stuffing, that's fantastic, but this idea is basically using up every little bit of those Thanksgiving leftovers. So you take the stuffing, you just kind of pat it down, and then at this point I'm going to add my vegetables to the onions just to give them a little butter flavor and with the onion and just kind of freshen them up a little bit. This happens to be just what we had in the freezer, or as I said, whatever you've got left over from Thanksgiving. This is one of those casseroles, very forgiving. Now over here I've got some potatoes going, but I'm probably guessing you're going to have some leftover mashed potatoes, and that's why I love this casserole, because it really is using up a little bit of everything. If you don't happen to have leftover mashed potatoes, you could certainly just, make some instant or pick some up from the deli. Just going to check our potatoes. We've been boiling them for a little bit. Want to make sure they're nice and tender. I have to thank everybody who came out, all those deer hunting widows who came to see me in New London. Oh my gosh, that was so fun. It was at the Familiar Ground coffee shop. What a neat place on Friday night. And it was just a blast. So thanks for coming by to see me. I'm just going to give my potatoes a nice drain. Got a couple of neat events coming up. Lots of holiday book signings, of course, but a couple of neat events coming up. Next Wednesday, I'm going to be at a really cool store in Neenah doing a holiday open house and book signing. It's called Cedar Ridge Crafts in Neenah next Wednesday evening. And then on Thursday, I'm doing a holiday cooking demonstration at the Kimberly Public Library. It's going to be really, really fun. So come on out and see me. You have to call and reserve your spot because there's just, limited space. So you can call or go online to the Kimberly Public Library, and it's going to be great fun. It's next Thursday night. Not this Thursday, because that's Thanksgiving, but the next Thursday night starts at 6 o'clock at the Kimberly Public Library. So it's going to be a blast. Hopefully you'll come and see me there. Okay, so I just wanted to quickly saute the onion and my vegetables, a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to get those veggies right on top, kind of spread them around. The key is we want to spread them around, but don't mix them in so that you actually have the separate layers. Okay. Now I've got my leftover turkey. So again, if you've got some leftover turkey, you just want to spoon that around. Diced or shredded, doesn't really matter. Just want to make sure it's all covered. I'm going to check on the casserole we have in the oven because we're putting some potatoes on the top and I want them to get a little bit brown, so I'm going to just throw the broiler on for a second. Okay, now our potatoes are really nice and soft. Pretty much mashed already, Ann. If you need to add a little milk, but you got the idea, we're making mashed potatoes. What I do want to do, and you need about 4 cups of mashed potatoes. One of the keys to making really good mashed potatoes is I like to warm up the milk a little bit. So when you're thinking about that and you're making mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving, just to warm that milk just a little bit, rather than put cold, we're using our Lamer's milk in. It helps them not become gluey. Now we've got some gravy, probably have some leftover gravy, so we're just going to pour or spoon the gravy over the top. In with our mashed potatoes, I'm doing some Parmesan cheese just to give it a little bit of nice flavor and kind of wake up those potatoes. And then I've got an egg. Now the recipe actually calls for 2 eggs, but this is going to make those mashed potatoes nice and fluffy. We've already got some of our potatoes done ahead of time. And I was going to add my warm milk in here, but I don't think I need much. Those mashed up really easily, Ann. Now I'm doing something a little fun, a little special. You don't have to do it. You can do it just like you would shepherd's pie. A little salt and pepper in our potatoes. But I actually have my potatoes in a piping bag here, and I'm going to get a little fancy. What you could do is just basically spread the mashed potatoes over the top. If you're not going to be eating this right away, cover it really, really well and either refrigerate it or freeze it. If you really wrap it well with a couple of layers with plastic wrap and then foil, it'll stay in your freezer for up to a good 3 months. We happen to put the mashed potatoes in a piping bag, and we're going to really look like a rock star here. And just pipe our potatoes. You get the idea. And I'll show you what this looks like when we're all done. It's absolutely gorge. All right, just keep piping. And here it is. They get a little bit brown at the end, and if they don't, you can throw the broiler on, but there you go. It's the taste of Thanksgiving casserole. This is fantastic, especially when you're a little bit turkeyed out after the holidays. Take all the leftovers, make this casserole, get it in the freezer, and then when you're really craving turkey and stuffing and potatoes and the vegetables and all that kind of stuff, even you can serve cranberry sauce on the side if you want. This is the casserole to make. And you can get the recipe, by the way, on our website. Coming up, we have some really fun last-minute ideas to decorating for the Thanksgiving holiday that will take you right on in through Christmas. And later, we're making turkey burgers with stuffing and cranberry sauce and a pumpkin pie cupcake. Super cute idea. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back.